Okay. Twitch. There's the ball. Working as it should. Yeah, audio is working as it should. Streams up, chats up, we're all good to go. Grand. Let's get the notes up. Just sit down and wait patiently for either everyone to arrive or the ready up signal is given. We only have 12 in the lobby at the moment. I do believe attendance had a lot more scheduled to be in the lobby. I'll double check. I'm pretty certain it was meant to be more. Attendance. 4 reserves, 12 full-time. We're meant to have 16 for this. There's a lot of people missing. Who the hell are we missing? Got both asses. The Boo's missing. Blade's here. Saint missing. Who else? Cal's missing. Switchback is missing. I think that should be the 4. Saint, Vermouth, Cal, and Switchback. That's only because I'm not speaking particularly loud. I'm muttering to myself, Potty. Don't worry. You'll hear me loud and clear in a bit. Oh, I guess this is it. 12. Really? I was fully expecting more than this, but there we go. We only got 12. Okie dokie. Hello everyone and welcome to round 12 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're competing at Silverstone Circuit for the British Grand Prix. Often considered to be one of the most legendary racetracks of them all, Silverstone, a former RAF World War II airfield, has turned itself into one of the premier racetracks of all of Europe. Having hosted the first ever official round of the Formula One World Championship, the circuit has an incredibly long and rich history with the sport. Over its lifetime, the circuit has changed quite significantly, with the most modern design created all the way back in 2011. It measures up at 3.66 miles and consists of 18 corners and 2 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 6 and Turn 14. Drivers can also try and pass into the hairpin of Turn 3 as well as the final chicane of Turn 16 and 17. It's an incredibly fast circuit with a plethora of technical sections that should hopefully prove to create an entertaining qualifying session. And no rain, thank you very much, Jules, for informing me of that. But before we touch more on qualifying, there is a decent chunk of news to go through first from the previous round back in Brazil. There were 4 incident reports, the first of which involved Mr. Duval with the penalty removal, which was successful, so he got 5 seconds removed from his overall race time. The second incident involved Warren and Red Devil. The result from that was a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points for Red Devil. The fourth involved Stubbly and Kryptonic Swang, which I think only resulted in a reprimand, no penalty given to him. And an incident between Badfast, Orlando, Wingit, and Mindset that ultimately resulted in Mindset getting a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points. Not that it affects him though. He was the first retirement of the race, so only penalty points affect him. Duval moves from P9 to P5 in the standings. Red Devil would move from P6 all the way down to P10. In the Drivers' Championship, it's Vermouth who was leading the way on 195 points, followed by Silkweaver on 127. But because of the low attendance numbers for this week, both of them are not racing. Saint isn't racing either. He's P3 on 111. The highest placed driver in the Drivers' Championship who was here today is Kryptonic. He's 4th on 105 points. Red Devil is behind him on 85. That's the top 5 in the drivers' standings. In the team standings, it's Mercedes leading the way on 268 points, followed by Haas on 185. It's a huge margin between the top two. Followed by AlphaTauri on 136, followed by Ferrari on 120, and Red Bull just 1 point behind, round out the top 5 on 119 points. Man, onboard audio is significantly louder compared to the off-board audio. That is for sure. Gee whiz. Look at that. Deathly quiet. Yeah. Hopefully Codemasters can balance that out, because going from this to this, yeah, there's a considerable difference. So I really can't do too much with that. Poddy is going to start the flying lap, the first flying lap of the session. Right on board, give you a tour of this 3.6 mile racetrack. Up towards Abbey, turn 1, it's a flat out right-hander. Around the left of turn 2, and into the village hairpin, that is turn 3. Down to third gear, clip to the apex, back on the power as we head around the loop, turn 4. Up towards Aintree, turn 5, a flat out left. We'll head on to the Wellington Straight and head towards Brooklands, one of the better overtaking spots on the circuit. Braking hard down to 5th gear, getting back on the power as we head around the right-hander known as Luffield. Heading up towards the old pit straight, we'll head around Woodcote, turn 8, and head up towards Cops Corner, turn 9. Is it flat? It is flat, as Bad Fuss retires and has left the section. Potty will make his way through the Maggots and Beckett's S's, most technical area of the racetrack. Heading around Chapel, head onto the Hangar Straight with DRS wide open, shifting into top gear, reaching a top speed of 207 miles an hour. We'll head around Stowe. Now heading up towards the Vale Chicane, turn 16 and 17 on the racetrack. And then finally Club Corner, the final turn, back onto the Hamilton Straight. That is the benchmark for everyone else to try and beat, a 26.0. Where's Saint? No idea. There's a fair few drivers missing. We had 16 in the attendance total. That's full-timers including reserves. And only 12 showed up, so I have no idea where a lot of people are. Vermou's missing, Saint's missing, Silkweaver's missing. Very strange. I was kind of looking forward to this. 16 drivers would have made this quite an interesting race, but now we only have 12. Well, hopefully the racing quality is still pretty good. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Got both Red Devil and Mindset on flying laps. Red Devil's making his way up towards the first sector split just before Brooklands. He does a 27.4 for the first sector. Oh, Mindset's off the racetrack, touring the gravel trap on the outside of turn 5. Oh no, that's on the inside of turn 4. Oh, okay. From the camera angle, I thought that was on the outside. No, he cut the track down the inside. Interesting. Red Devil making his way through the Maggots and Beckett's S's. He understeered quite badly there just before Chapel. Got just enough rotation to keep the car on the racetrack as he heads around Stowe Corner, turn 15. Only 3 corners remain, turn 16, 17 and 18. It's a tricky little complex. You've got Vale and Club Corner. Club is particularly tricky thanks to that sausage curve on the inside. You touch that, you dramatically unsettle the car. Very high chance of spinning out. And Vermou joins the session. Joins in late. Mr. Duval will head around the final turn and back onto the main straightaway. He sets a 26.3, goes just behind his reserve teammate Orlando in P2. Yeah, with the tall curb, on almost any racetrack that we go to, it's incredibly easy to get beat. Even small hills, as Switchback found out last week over in Interlagos, resulted in one of the weirdest accidents I think I've ever seen in all my time commentating. Kryptonic 27.5 in the first sector. Relative to Red Devil, it's actually pretty close to his time. I imagine in the rules you'll be allowed to reset the track if you're beached. That typically is a common rule within a lot of racing leagues, with F1 at least. I've done it a few times myself. Funnily enough, all of them at Bahrain. There's a fair few places in Bahrain where you can get stuck. If you have a creative enough accident, I suppose. But with a lot of the racing leagues I've competed with, yeah, it should be fine. So long as, you know, you keep in mind where the traffic is. Of course, you don't do anything stupid. Yeah, it's weird when the player can't do it, but the AI can magically get itself out of a tricky situation. As Kryptonic crosses the line, he goes P6 with a 26.5. Mindset will head around Club Corner and back onto the main straight. He sets a 26.4. So, not a bad qualifying session so far. What's it? 3/10 between P7 to P2. Potty's well clear at the moment by almost 2.5 tenths. We got Schulz making his way towards the S's. Flat through Maggots. Up towards Beckett's now. Turn 13. Then Chapel. Yeah, it's open. Building up speed. Apparently still in second gear because that visual glitch is still a thing. Luckily the telemetry that we have here works well. That was a good bit of counter steering right there from Schulz to save that car. It was properly sideways exiting Stowe. Car looks a tad bit unstable heading through the final sector. Schulz crosses the line and jumps to P3. It's a fast lap. He would have lost about a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half with what happened at Stowe. A bad fast rejoins the session, so he'll be competing in the race at the very least. Could have been one of those retirement DCs where if you disconnect from the lobby, the game retires your car for whatever reason. That wasn't an issue in any of the previous games, but in this one, it definitely is an issue that exists for some reason. Up through the gears, round Aintree, heading on to the Wellington Straight. Nortec is currently P5 with a 26.3. He is up by 71 thousandths of a second to the first sector. He'll head around Luffield, turn 7, third gear. Nice and gentle on the accelerator, and just before the outside curb, he reaches full throttle. Up towards Copse Corner. Is it flat? Yes, it is. Absolutely flat the whole way round. To think that used to be turn 1 on the previous layout design, pre-2010. We didn't have this infield section after turn 1. Copse Corner used to be the old turn 1. Grand Prix cars going 2x2 through there on the opening lap. That must... You can imagine what that'd be like in online league racing. It wouldn't be fun, I can tell you. Side by side through there. Would not be fun at all. Nortec crosses the line, jumps up to P2, 26.120. Orlando on a flying lap, heading up towards the first sector split. He's up by 61 thousandths to the first sector, very similar to what Nortec did a few moments ago. McLaren will make its way towards Woodcote, turn 8, onto the old pit straight, heading up towards Copse Corner. Straight is still, the pit lane is still used, by the way. For a number of years it's been used as the official main straight for MotoGP. Though this year, if I do recall correctly, they actually moved it to the Hamilton straight due to concerns of motorcycles going through there on the opening lap, going through Copse Corner on the opening lap. Just really didn't seem like a great idea. They have 2 pit lane as well. I didn't know that. Thought they would use Grand Prix pits like everyone else. I don't really pay too much attention to F2. Orlando does a 26.088. Oh, where the garages are. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I suppose you got to put the car somewhere. Warren on a flying lap. Yet to put a time on a board. Same with Vermeer. Well, not quite. Vermeer's actually backed off. Warren, he's low on fuel, so he won't be able to go for another run. So he's got to make this lap count. Makes his way out to the Vale chicane and heads towards Club Corner to complete the lap. Set a 1:26.6 exactly. Goes slowest of all, but not by much. By only 0.006 of a second. At the moment, the 11 cars that have set times are only separated by 0.6 of a second. It really demonstrates how tight and how competitive qualifying can be around Silverstone. It's a well-used racetrack in league racing, so everyone knows how to go decently quickly around here. So it's unsurprising that the qualifying session that we have right now is actually quite competitive. Though I will be interested to see what Vermeer can do if he elects to put a competitive time on the board. It seems that just about everyone's on outlaps or in-laps. Only driver on the I'll get the words out eventually. The only driver on an outlap is Potty here, our provisional pole sitter. Did that time right at the beginning of the session too. The track's evolved quite considerably. It has become faster, so I'm curious to see what kind of improvements the AlphaTauri driver can make. See, they're riding the brake and the throttle at the same time, trying to increase the carcass temperature in the tyre. Very handy technique. Though I somewhat doubt that's a thing in real life. Because you destroy the ever-living daylights out of the engine with how much load you're putting into it. How strong those brakes really are. Using throttle and brake at the same time would be basically a death sentence for the engine. But this is a video game, so we needn't worry about such things. Alright, through Vale. Switch on the battery, I imagine. There we go. Round Club and on to the Hamilton Straight. Current PV at 26.051. See if he can crack into the 25s as he heads through Village. Then the loop, turn 4. Up towards Aintree, turn 5. Up through the gears. Onto the Wellington Straight with DRS open. Clock says to the first timing intermediate he's actually down by 64 thousandths of a second. As he heads around Luffield, turn 7. Around Woodcote, turn 8, onto the old pit straight. Towards Copse Corner. Apex speed. Oh! Carried a bit too much apex speed, it seems. The car understeered wide. They'll ruin the flying lap attempt. It wasn't the perfect first sector, though. Lost time somewhere through the first sector. So he'll back the car off, charge up the batteries, and have another go. As there's only 2 minutes left in qualifying, it's probably best advised not to go back into pit lane. You won't be able to get back out again. So everyone on outlaps, they'll be their final outlaps. Getting ready for their final flyers. Schulz, on what could be his final flying lap attempt, is heading up towards Copse Corner as Potty's actually pitted. So they'll be qualifying done then for the AlphaTauri driver. That is the benchmark for everyone else to try and beat. By nice and tidy through the S's. Heading on to the hangar straight. He's up by 74 thousandths. In order to try and take pole position, you need to improve by a little over 2/10. No fuel, I see. That explains why. Through the Vale chicane. And up towards the final corner. Schulz will cross the line to set at 26.030. He's taken provisional pole away from Potty. Orlando getting ready. Red Devil getting ready. Same with Nortec. All the drivers just taking it easy, trying to give each other enough room for their flying lap attempt. Kryptonic heading down towards the village hairpin, turn 3. Down to third gear. Back on the power. He'll head around the hairpin at turn 4. Maybe a bit wide at the entry. A little wiggle at the exit as well as he heads onto the Wellington straight. Up towards the first sector split, Kryptonic is down, but not by much, by 7 thousandths of a second. Behind him is Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, heading up towards the first sector split. He improves by a 10th in the first sector. That's a healthy improvement. See what he can do in the middle sector. Kryptonic's making his way through, heading up towards the Maggots and Beckett's S's. Ready to shuck it through. Left, then right. Left again through turn 12. Right again through 13. Then the left through Chapel onto the hangar straight. He's actually down now by 18 thousandths. He's lost a little bit more time. Orlando making his way through the middle sector. Clock says he's lost a little bit. Only up by 73 thousandths now. Red Devil's making his way through the S's. Nortec is just in front of him. He's lost time. Nortec, he's down by a 10th. Red Devil is up by 2 1/4 tenths of a second. Orlando. One corner remains. Club corner. Back onto the straight. Is it enough? The answer is no. He doesn't improve. Oh, Nortec's around that Stowe. His qualifying session is done. It's down to Red Devil. Can he knock off Schulz? He'll cross the line and take provisional pole with a 25.8. Nortec, he's mowing the grass on the inside of Stowe. Still got a few drivers to come round just yet. Mindset's one of them. Can he take pole away? Yes, he can with a 25.6. What about Mr. Duval? He improves by almost a 10th. He stays P7. Electric Blade, his session is done. And Vermeer is around at the final corner, at the beginning of the final corner. So he'll be starting from P12 then for this British Grand Prix. It's Mindset who will start from pole then here at Silverstone. Results from qualifying, it's Drips Mindset who will start from pole position, out qualifying Red Devil by just over 1/10 of a second. Schulz P3, followed by Potty in P4, Orlando 5th, then Nortec, Duval, Stubley, Electric Blade, and Kryptonic rounds out the top 10. We have Warren P11, followed by Vermeer, who joined in late. He'll start 12th. Bad Fast retired at the beginning of qualifying. He'll start from the back in 13th position. All in all, not bad. Top 11 cars separated by just under a second. Not bad. Not bad at all. Race time then. Silverstone. Been a while since I've done a race here. I imagine medium hard or hard medium is probably going to be the way to go. It's the same trend with almost every racetrack. It's sitting on this loading screen for a bit. There we go. Yeah, some clouds about, but the majority of the sky is blue and there's no sign of wet weather, which is a good thing. Silverstone in the dry is a very fun circuit to drive around. Gets very, very competitive. Ah, we'll be curious to see who starts on what. See if the soft tyres in any way competitive here at Silverstone. Like I said, it's been a while for me. Last time I, well, even did commentary here at Silverstone. It has been a long, long time. Ah, drivers just making their final adjustments. Adjusting fuel, adjusting the strategy. Getting themselves ready for a very, very fast Grand Prix. Oh, I hope they bring back the timer. So frustrating not being in the know of when the drivers are going to take off on their formation lap. Having that timer in the previous games allowed me to set up something heading into the formation lap. Now I'm basically just sitting here waiting for this screen to cut to the grid. And I've got absolutely no idea when it will do it. I don't think it's a bug. Or it could be a bug. I'll double check. I believe there is meant to be a designated ready up person. Hmm. Keep my eyes on Discord. I'm hazarding a guess we might have actually had a lobby glitch. Oh no. We just took forever to get there. Man, that took a while. Alright. Run through the order just... Ooh. Okay. Bit surprised with this. We'll run through the order and, yeah, some interesting notes. First interesting note, the guy on pole, Mindset. On the soft compound tyre for the beginning of this British Grand Prix. Red Devil will start alongside him on the medium. Schulz in P3 is doing the same. Totti in P4 on the hard compound tyre. Same with Orlando in P5. Nortec in P6. And Mr. Duval in P7. And Orlando is up the session. Hopefully he can rejoin as soon as possible. The messaging he has wheel issues. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in. Hopefully have that sorted. Stubbly P8 starting on the medium tyre. Electric Blade starting on the hard. Scriptonic is starting on the soft. So both passes starting on the soft tyre for this Grand Prix. Interesting. Warren P11 is on the hards. Vermeux's on the hards as well in P12. And Bad Fast starting from the back in P13 is on the hards too. So we have 8 drivers on the hard tyres, 3 on the mediums and 2 on softs. Possible race strategies, well, it says here, for those starting on the softs, 2 stops away to go. But the pit lane here at Silverstone is one of the longest you traverse through in the world of Formula 1, and it's only taken at 37 miles an hour, or 50 kilometers an hour for everyone else. Yeah, it takes forever to get through, to put it lightly. And I mean that. It really does take light years to get through to get through that pit lane. It takes an eternity. So a 2-stop isn't recommended. is what I'm saying. One stop is definitely the way to go. Everyone's lined themselves up. Get ready to run. 13 cars lined up, ready to race. And there's no lights. There we go. 26 laps in front of us, 10 red lights. We are underway here at Silverstone. It's a nice start from Potty in P4. Mindset and Devil drag race towards turn 1, and it's the Haas who wins into the opening corner. Schulz gets in front of Red Devil, moves into P2. We head down into the hairpin, bonking behind. Duval getting into the back of Potty as we head around turn 4, locking up there from the Aston Martin of Stubley as Orlando has rejoined the session. Round Aintree, heading on to the Wellington Straight. A lot of weaving. Trying to sort themselves out. Nortec having a look at Duval. Can't quite get it done as Kryptonic and Vermeer battle away further back. Oh, ghosting. There was a bit of ghosting there between Duval and Nortec at Luffield. It's Mindset who leads. Schulz second, followed by Red Devil, then Potty. Mr. Duval's holding back the Alpine of Nortec as we head towards the Maggots and Beckett's S's. Chucking it through. Guys on the hard tyres. Really got to back off through there. They've now got a race load of fuel in the car. Hard tyres don't provide a hell of a lot of grip. As you can see, they don't offer a lot of speed. Stubley moves through on the medium tyre into P6. Kryptonic getting by. Vermeer getting by. And into the pits goes Bad Fast. That completes the first lap. And Bad Fast retires on the very first lap of the race. There you go. Well, it's his decision, isn't it? Oh, a bit of a wiggle there for Kryptonic. Gets loose out of turn 3. On to the Wellington Straight. The leader makes his way through Brooklands, turn 6. And Luffield, turn 7. Continuing to build the margin. The gap currently sits at about 1.8 seconds. Red Devil just behind Schulz. 6/10 separating these two. Then there's Potty, Duval, Stubley, Nortec. McLaren of Orlando in 8th, followed by Vermeer in 9th. It's going to be notoriously difficult making your way through the field. This track is well known for creating DRS trains. When DRS trains are formed, it's almost impossible to pass. Vermeer senses an opportunity to try and make a move. He looks around the outside. Will he dumbing it down the inside? No, he won't. He'll commit around the long way. Sending it round. Almost making contact with the McLaren as we head into Vale. Bit of rear locking there for the Mercedes as the two drivers give each other room. Vermeer looks for the switchback. Orlando saw it coming and covered just enough of the racetrack to keep the Mercedes behind. I wanted to cut off an onboard game. No, now you're just giving me onboards. Alright, we'll ride on board game. That's what you want. I wanted off-board shots, but here we go. Down the inside at turn 4. Orlando should get a better exit, but he's stuck on the outside here at Aintree, and he doesn't have DRS either. The Mercedes will get by with ease. Moves into P8. Kryptonic closing in. Oh, Vermeer's wide, but he should cover the inside here at Luffield, and does. Down the inside looks Kryptonic on those soft tyres. Doesn't get a great exit though. Orlando keeps P9. Yeah, absolutely love that. I wanted an outboard shot and the game gave me alternative onboard shots that I can't control. If I wanted onboard shots, I would ride on board. If I want outboard shots, I want outboard shots. DRS open on Orlando's, Kryptonic's blades and Warren's cars. Kryptonic's got some decent straight line speed. Goes right round the outside at Stowe. Can he get in front? He does. Will Orlando counterattack? He doesn't. The Kryptonics to 9th. Back up towards the front. There's Schulz. Red Devil in behind. 7/10 behind to be exact. Braking hard just before the 50 board. Down to 3rd gear. Round turn 4. Short shift. Up to 5th. 6th gear. 7th gear. And into top gear. Heading into Brooklyn's Potty. A bit too far behind. Closes in a little bit on the brakes. Red Devil trying to square off the exit here. Try and shoot off the corner. It's a nice exit, but I'd say Potty had a better corner all round. Very tidy through tops. Just one long train of cars. All pretty equidistant apart, too. Sitting at about half a second or so apart. Red Devil's going to cut down that margin, though. Down towards Stowe. Not by enough, though, to try and find a way through. Blade close to Orlando. Can't find a way through. Nortec and Vermu are now side by side. Heading into the Vale chicane. Vermu sticking it around the outside. That turns to the inside. That turns 17. Gets in front. Moves into P7. Down towards turn 1. Nortec can't find a way through here. You could try and dive bomb here at turn 3. Doesn't do that though. Might try and use the power of DRS down the Wellington Straight to move through. Is he close enough though? Look at the train in front, weaving about down the Wellington Straight. Nortec wasn't close enough. Bit of understeer as well there. Front end not really cooperating with Nortec. Front end looks okay. He might be running a low wing setup. Try and maximise top speed down the straights. And then Kryptonic changing places. Leaders make their way through the S's. Onto the hangar straight. Red Devil, is he close enough? What's his battery looking like? 84%. Schulz 76. So they've been able to save battery pretty well. Potty less so. Still got a decent amount left with 35, but nowhere near the same amount compared to Devil and Schulz. But it's enough. Mr. Duval a little bit less. Stubley's on almost an even 50. Almost the same story with the move. And Nortec as well, he's just over 50. So a lot of these guys have conserved their battery pretty well. Haven't been too aggressive with it. And something really important with the battery in this game. You can't afford to be over aggressive with it. Because a lot of the time it's really difficult to get it back. If you're in a DRS train, obviously it makes it easier. Less work for the battery to do with the DRS slot open. And also with the increased build-up of speed heading into a braking zone, you recharge more of the battery. Because the brakes have to do a hell of a lot more to slow the car down at such a speed. Vermu gets by Stubley at a place you don't normally expect to see a pass on the old pit straight. He moves through into P6. I would hazard a guess that Stubley made a mistake at Luffield, which ultimately resulted in Vermu getting by. That would be my guess. What happened there? I ride on board with Potty, see what the battle ahead looks like from his perspective. Red Devil doesn't go for it, and Potty almost goes into the back of the Williams there. Kept it straight, just about. Had to run a little bit wide to avoid making contact. As Orlando has a look down the inside, doesn't fully commit to the move though. But with the continuing squabbling between these guys, they're losing a lot of time to the cars in front. See, there's a 3.1 second margin between Nortec and Blade, and that's going to be really tough to claw back. Orlando looking, but not quite close enough to go for a move just yet. Mindset still out in front. He's now got a margin of 3.2 seconds, 3.3 now. Bit of weaving, bit of moving. No one committing to a move just yet though. Oh, body getting very, very close to the back end of that Williams. Getting very close. Up towards Cop's corner. Big lift there. Making sure the front end turns in. You don't want to be understeering wide. Accumulating those track limit warnings. You might get a time penalty. Those time penalties can really hurt you towards the end of the race, especially in a race as competitive as this. As Red Devil finally makes a move for second. Gets in front of Schulz. Schulz, will he fight back? No. He'll stay behind, almost goes into the behind. Oh, cuts a bit too much at turn 17. Lost time. Mr. Duval under a bit of pressure. Vermeulen directly behind him. The championship leader will be eager to try and make a move, but he can't get it done at turn 3. Will he have a look down the inside here at 4? He does have a look. Duval sees him coming and runs too wide there. Could have been a bit more narrow at the corner. He gave Vermeulen a bit too much room there, and it cost himself. Moves down to P6, Vermeulen up to 5th. The most important thing now for Duval is to try and hang on to the back of Vermeulen for as long as he can. Let the championship leader drag him along up towards the top 4. Vermeulen definitely has the pace to try and do that. Because Vermeulen needs to execute it. Through the S's. Heading up towards Beckett, the right-hander here at 13. A big amount of understeer there for Poddy. The front end said, nope, I'm not turning in. But eventually, enough grip was gathered and the front end eventually cooperated. But it took a while. The rear end now not cooperating for Poddy as Vermeulen closes in. Mr. Duval as well, a 3-second time penalty. Getting that at the exit of Stowe, that's really easy to do. I remember back in the day where you could abuse that track limits. Back in 2019. You could run really wide out of Stowe. It would gain you about a tenth or so when you do it. Game never gave you any penalties for it either. Get away with it. Times have changed. Changed for the better as well. The track limits tend to be a lot more consistent than what they were in the past. Vermeulen trying to go around the outside here at Brooklands. He'll give himself the inside line at Luffield. Poddy's not having it though. Fighting around the long way at turn 7. But Vermeulen's in the dominant position and moves in front into P4. Schulz still hovering behind Red Devil in P2. Got a lot of battery saved up. Red Devil, he's used a little bit of his, perhaps, in his pursuit of our race leader. Mindset still out in front on those soft tyres. When he crosses the line, he would have done 9 laps on them. They wouldn't feel particularly great. As Nortec gets by Stubley, that's for P7. Schulz just not quite close enough to go for a move just yet. Vermeulen well and truly closing in. We head on to the main straight away. Begin lap 10 of 26 here at Silverstone. Got a driver in and it's Kryptonic. So he's biting the bullet early to make sure he doesn't have to double stack with his teammate. What will he move on to though? Set of hards? Set of mediums? I honestly have no idea. It's a set of hards. So he's set to do about 17 laps on those things. Going to be a long old stint on those tyres. He'll get a decent size undercut with the freshness of those tyres. But after a while, he's not going to have a lot of pace compared to everyone else on fresh rubber. So he's got to make these laps count. Try and gain as much track position as possible. Because if he doesn't, well, he's going to be on the back foot heading towards the end of the race. Two Mercs separated by 2.5. Excuse me. Separated by now 0.3 of a second. Vermeulen closing the gap down, but not by enough. I wonder if Schulz will let him through, or if Schulz be too preoccupied, potentially battling with Red Devil. I suppose only time will tell. This group is also closing in on our race leader. Mindset is still running on those soft tyres. Now done 10 laps, and the gap has shrunk down to 2 seconds. Gut feeling tells me that Mindset will either pit in this lap or the next. Get off those softs onto something fresher, something a bit harder as well. DRS open. Down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. Heading round the sweeper at Luffield. Vermeulen a bit of a wider line. He'll get a narrower exit. Look at him close in on his teammate. I think he's letting Vermeulen through here. Gets it done. At Cop's corner. So Vermeulen up to third. Should just roll out of it. As soon as Vermeulen drew alongside, he's like, mate, letting you through. I don't want to battle you too hard. Got a race to worry about. Cotty hovering behind, not quite close enough to try and attack Schulz. He spent up a fair amount of his battery. There's our race leader pitting in. Mindset in the pits. I figured as much. After the amount of time he lost on those past 2 laps, yeah, it's not surprising that he's in. Schulz has followed him. So we've got 2 cars in the pits. Interesting. Around the hairpin at turn 3. Schulz pitted onto hards. Mindset's on mediums. And try and go long on those medium tyres. Here comes Vermeulen. He'll get past with ease. And takes the lead. Heading into Brooklands on lap 12. Got a lot of strategy games to play out, but at the moment Vermeulen's in a pretty solid position. 2 drivers getting penalties, Duval and Stubley getting time penalties. When will these 3 pit? I imagine Red Devil will be thinking about pitting shortly, considering what Schulz has done. And I'd say for Red Devil, Schulz is probably Red Devil's primary rival in this race. So will he pit in now, or will he try and stretch these mediums out for as long as he can, as Stubley gets by Nortec. Warren gets a 3-second time penalty, and there we go. Devil's in. Potty follows. On the hards, I mean that he'll pit onto mediums, but you'll have to do a decent stint on those things. See what he can do, I guess. Nortec moves up into the top 3. Orlando, then Blade. Where's Mindset? Mindset heading onto the main straight. Should pass those in pit lane. Here comes Red Devil. Where is Schulz? There he is. Red Devil gets out in front. Schulz on tyres that are warmed up. They've got plenty of grip. Might be able to try and launch an attack heading towards Brooklands. DRS open. Devil covers. It's not enough. And he actually rolls out of it. So Schulz up into P8 in front of Red Devil. He is 3.6 seconds behind Mindset. Our provisional race leader. Once everyone makes their pit stops. Wade will get by Orlando with ease, heading towards Stowe. That's P4 for him. The race leader is in. The halfway mark of this British Grand Prix, Vermeulen pits. Get off these hard tyres and onto a set of mediums, so it's an even 50-50 split. When it comes to the usage of tyre compounds, unless of course we have a safety car. I imagine that's going to change things up significantly when it comes to strategy. If we have a safety car. There's mindset. Heading around turn 1. Moves still in pit lane. Here comes his teammate. So Schulz gets in front. Vermeulen moves in front of Potty. Just. Around the hairpin at the loop, heading up towards Aintree. 3/10. Vermeulen's not quite close enough to attack Red Devil into Brooklands. He'll stay behind a little bit wide as well. Potty closed in ever so slightly. And heading up towards Cops Corner. So we're going to see these four battle all over again as Schulz runs wide at Cops, losing time. An opportunity then for Red Devil to try and move through. Round Beckett's, then Chapel. DRS open. Blade pits. Devil looks to the outside. He actually lifts. He didn't want to attack Schulz at Stowe. Stay behind. Vermeulen looks left and right to try and find a way through. Through Vale, he just stays behind the Williams. Onto the Hamilton straight. Through turn 1, then turn 2. Up towards turn number 3. So close to the back end of that car. Oh, little twitch away from the apex there to avoid contact. Potty's close, but he's not quite close enough to try and attack the Mercedes. Vermeulen gets close, but not close enough. Try and set up a nice run here. Heading up towards Cops. Turns on the battery. Red Devil's holding firm, but now an opportunity arises. Vermeulen down the inside of Cops Corner, gets it done. That's an audacious move. Red Devil showing a lot of discipline there, leaving a lot of room and bailing out of the corner. You don't want to go side by side through Stone. Never usually works out. Duval pits in with the speeding penalty to boot. Vermeulen moves into 5th place and now has the task of hunting down Mindset. The gap between the two cars, 4.9 seconds. The thing with the low attendance, you wouldn't expect to see a double stack, but we've got a double stack at McLaren. Vermeulen sets a new fastest lap. This leading group head towards the village hairpin. Gap shrunk down to 4.6. The gap is tumbling. Can Vermeulen cut it down by enough to try and challenge the provisional race leader? Currently out in front is Nortec in the Alpine, yet to make a stop. He will soon though get off those hard tyres, potentially chuck on a set of softs and go to the end. That might be his game plan. Alternatively, he can try and stay out for as long as possible and pray for a safety car, in which case he gains a tremendous amount of track position. He elects otherwise though, he's in. I thought he pulled it up well enough there. He did not. Gets a speeding penalty with 5 seconds will be added to his race time as Red Devil moves by Schulz. Schulz under attack from Potty. Potty can't find a way through just yet. Round turn 16, then 17. On club corner. Tight battle between these three as Nortec slowly moving his way out of pit lane. Probably come out in front of Blade, maybe? Or maybe not. Nortec's going to lose a decent chunk of positions. Moves all the way down to P10. Gets passed by Kryptonic. Appears that those two are actually fighting for turn 3. Sector 3 yellows. Warren retires in pit lane. So we're down to 11 cars then. The move closing in. And Nortec's pitted onto a set of mediums. So he didn't gamble and put on softs. Fair play. It will mean that he will be able to really push on those mediums as Schulz pushes too wide. Gets a 3-second time penalty. Which is really going to hurt him in his battle to finish on the podium. Still very much in with the shot. Red Devil 7/10 in front. 40% battery almost. Schulz has almost twice as much. For Schulz, he's got an AlphaTauri all over the back of him. That's more than likely giving him a great distraction to try and deal with. Holding firm in fourth for that 3-second time penalty is really going to hurt. Through the S's, heading up towards the village hairpin. I don't think Schulz will be close enough still to try and make a move. Yeah, just a bit too far behind. Potty's close, but he doesn't have the battery. He's going to have a go though, down the inside at Brooklands. Schulz gives him room. Around Luffield. Potty just doesn't have the grip on the outside to try and keep that fight alive, so Schulz hangs on to fourth. Red Devil. Might be his opportunity to try and pull away. A little look to the inside. But you'd be a madman to try and attack into turn 10, heading into Maggots. Side by side through there definitely doesn't work as Schulz lights it up at the exit of Beckett's. Can't find a way through. Or maybe a dive bomb perhaps? No, stays behind. Look at that, Red Devil, he's pulled away. The gap now sits at 1.3 seconds. It's continuing to increase. Schulz losing time, battling Potty. Potty having a look, but not committing to a move at turn 3. The gap between the top two is continuing to shrink, by the way. It's shrunk down to 2.8 seconds. Electric Blades left the session. Hopefully he can rejoin as soon as possible. Potty, can he get through? He does now. He'll cover the inside here at Luffield. Schulz will try and set up a nice exit. Stay as close as he can to Potty. But the AlphaTauri's moved up to fourth. He's now 1.8 seconds behind Red Devil in third. The gap has increased between the top two. It's inflated up to 3 seconds. Oh, and he has to cut the track for move. Got it terribly wrong at Beckett. Cuts the track, loses at least a couple of tenths. Gap increases now to 3.3. Mindset. Ooh. I think I might have DC'd from the lobby. Or did everyone DC from the lobby? It was just me. That's fine. That's fine. Very nice of the game deciding to just boot me out. You've already joined. Yeah, sure. Sure, game. There we go. I love this game. I love this game. Hello, Electric Blade, how you doing? Alright, it appears that Vermoo has gotten his act together after his little oopsie at the S's. He's closed down the gap to 2.3 seconds. I'll switch it on to that just a minute, see who's gained and lost places. Vermoo up 10, Orlando down 5, Nortec down 2, Schulz down 2. Not a lot of movement up the order above Vermoo. Duval and Stubley have each moved up a place, but everyone else has been pretty stagnant or have lost places. Ooh. Look at that telemetry icon. Yellow fuel icon. Will Vermoo have a fuel problem heading towards the end of the race? It's minus 0 points. Minus 0.03. Oh, gee whiz. As Vermoo runs wide, the dots are so... The numbers are so small, they're basically like dots. It's impossible to read. But yes, I believe he's 0.03 or so under, so he's only slightly under. So perhaps fuel won't be a major concern, but if that number continues to inflate, then it really will become a problem in his chances of trying to beat this man. Additionally, Vermoo needs to keep it on the black stuff. Running out into the green stuff slows the car down. And he's been running it into the green stuff a bit too often. 0.4 of a second is the gap between Potty and Schulz. These two are still going at it. Potty has closed down the gap a little bit to Red Devil in third. But in the process, he's given himself a timed penalty. What is it? 3 seconds next to his name. So his chance... his chances of finishing on the podium have basically gone out the window unless Red Devil himself gets a time penalty and makes it a fair game between all of these guys as Schulz goes down the inside, moves through into 4th place. .4 seconds the gap. Mindset's hanging on, but he's out of battery. Spending every resource they have left. Mindset's trying to keep Vermoo at bay. Vermoo's trying to cut the gap down. He's got a little bit of extra battery saved up. Needs to use it wisely. I'll check his fuel again. Minus 0.06. So Vermoo is losing fuel, but not by a huge amount. Potty gets back by. Schulz has a crack down the inside. Contact! And Potty saves it. Schulz backs off. Make sure he didn't overtake there. Otherwise, could have been a report. There's some good driving there. Schulz showing a lot of respect, just backing off after making contact, and Potty saving that car. These cars aren't easy to save. They do love spinning out. They'll do it quite freely too. .4 seconds. The gap's stagnant at the moment. Vermoo can't cut it down. Mindset is doing enough. Keeping the Merc at bay, but that will cut down the gap. A mistake at Stowe. Shrinks by a tenth. Those tenths just might matter. If Vermoo can cut that gap down by just enough. The Merc is not closing. Not closing in by enough. Heading up towards the chicane. The Vale chicane turns 16 and 17. Mindset's doing the business. Vermoo doesn't have a response. Meanwhile, behind, we have Bladed Nortec battling for P8 on track. Got Stubley and Duval battling for P6 and 7. Schultz still behind Potty by a gap of 4.5 tenths. A lot of these guys with time penalties. Several of them for track limit violations. For a couple, some speeding penalties. Most notably for Duval and Nortec. Schultz closes in. It's not by enough. Potty hangs on to 4th. Red Devil in a world by himself. Got a healthy gap to Potty behind and a huge gap to Vermoo in front. Vermoo's still not closing. He's probably trying to save fuel now, just to make sure his car doesn't conk out before the line. Probably feels that his chance for a win has gone out the window. Mindset has driven terrifically well, making this soft medium strat working a treat right now. Through the Vale chicane. Bit of front left locking there. Makes his way through. Blay gets by Nortec down the inside. That's for P8. On track at least. Nortec having a look but couldn't fully commit down the inside there. Stays in P9. 2 laps to go here at Silverstone. 0 safety cars throughout this race. Gone by very quickly, as you'd probably expect around a racetrack that's this fast. Schultz, he's got all that battery with 2 laps to go and he hasn't used it yet. Saving it up for the right moment, I suppose. He might try and line up a pass down the hangar straight, heading into Stowe, and maybe use the rest of the battery to try and keep 4th. Hard to say, but that would be my guess. With the amount of battery he's got left, he's saving it up for the right moment to use it all. You don't want to leave it too late, though. Otherwise, Potty can get crafty. Try and hang on to that 4th place. DRS open. He's not using the battery like... Oh, there we go. Switch it on now, and now he's turned it off again. I thought he'd try and set up a move here, but he hasn't gone for it yet. Stubley gets by Duval. Nortec gets by Blade. 2 overtakes, 1 corner. All of them successful. Alright, the final lap. The gap between the top 2 has substantially increased. Vermoo is in fuel saving mode. Lift and coast his way to the finish line. Mindset. We have 2 sectors to try and traverse. And his 2nd victory of the season shall be his. Down the inside goes Schultz. That's for P4. Now he'll use up the battery to try and keep the AlphaTauri at bay. Duval gets by Stubley. Ultimately meaningless considering the time penalties, but hey. Finishing in front on track is a very nice feeling. Schultz, a bit wide there for Potty. Potty still buried in that slipstream though, heading through the S's. Can Schulz hang on? He'll dump every bit of battery he has left down the hangar straight. But that DRS system is seriously powerful. Potty not quite close enough. A terrific drive from our race leader results in victory here at Silverstone. Mindset wins the British Grand Prix, and Vermeulen will reach the finish line and finish second. Devil third. Schulz will hang on to fourth. Potty rounds out the top 5. Blade vaults up the leaderboards to finish 6th, followed by Stubley, Orlando, then Nortec, Duval in 10th. And there goes Kryptonic. Vibrating across the racetrack. Vermeulen given driver of the day, starting at the back, finishing second. But he couldn't hunt down our race winner today. Mindset takes win number 2 of the season. What a place to do it at as well here at Silverstone. Vermeulen will extend his championship lead, finishing P2. And Red Devil, another podium finish for him. The unofficial results then of the British Grand Prix. Mindset is your race winner, with Vermeulen coming from 12th on the grid to finish second, with fastest lap as well. Red Devil will complete the podium places in third. Schulz in fourth holds off Potty, who finishes 5th, followed by Electric Blade, Stubley, Orlando. Nortec and Mr. Duval rounds out the top 10. Kryptonic P11, and our 2 retirements were Warren and Badfast. Not a bad race, all things considering. 13 cars, and we had decent amount of battles here and there. Strategies were interesting to watch. And Mindset proved that the soft medium actually isn't a bad strat. If you're able to gain a lot of track position early on the soft tyres, and able to stretch out those softs for as long as you can, puts you in a pretty decent position for the latter stages of the race. So congrats to him on making that work. Another race in the books. Been a very long season. Not just here with COS, but just with league racing in general. It's been very long. Still got a fair few races to go. Next week is bound to be quite interesting. Hopefully. Final congratulations to our top 3 once again. Congratulations to Mindset on winning this British Grand Prix. But I think with everything said and done, it's now time for us to wrap up the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you everyone so much for watching. We'll see you next week for round 13 of the AM1 Championship at the Las Vegas Grand Prix circuit for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. First ever. It's going to be very, very interesting, I imagine. Until next time though, it's goodbye.